Greetings, everyone. This is the Quintessential Experience with Sipho. I'm your host, Sipho Setumlambisa, Ukaba, Uwashe Titibo Nozingu Mtomlamba, Nosi, Ngesiqu sakhe. We're here. This is a very iconic episode today. Chilling with a guy, Keagan guy. Straight from America. He's just landed from America. This is gonna be solid. A soccer player. Also, he's doing business management studies in America. We're so privileged today, so blessed. This is an iconic moment. I'm so fascinated. I'm even nervous at the same time, excitement. The emotions are playing with me. So I would like to welcome you, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks for even coming here as we've invited you to our podcast. And first things first, I want to teach you how to greet in isiZulu.
Okay.
You say sawubona.
Sawubona.
Yeah, you look at the camera, guys. Sanibonani.
Sanibonani.
Yeah.
Sanibonani.
Yeah, those are my guests. And then I want to teach you a last one in Dumelang. You can say, yeah, Dumelang.
Dumelang.
Yeah, so that's good. I think we need to come together. We need to show people that as the youth of today, we are willing to come together, irrespective of the race, the color, the sex, the gender, everything, but come together as one, as a people, and show each other love, bro, and support each other's hustles. I believe one of the motivations that made me to invite you to this podcast is because of your dad.
Yes.
Your dad has played a very instrumental role in me concocting this YouTube channel, this podcast, because he's the first guest who came here. He's the pilot.
Yeah.
So he pretty much opened the floodgates, and then everything that's just turned out well. I think after that, we shot so many episodes. So I even remember his words saying that you look like an entrepreneur, you're so young, I like your spirit, your exuberance. So it's so iconic. I'm also emotional a lot.
Yeah.
Also spoke so well about you, how you make him proud, bro.
Yeah.
So can you please formally introduce yourself to my viewers?
My name is Keagan Turner. I'm a soccer player at LSUA in America, studying business administration. But like you said, also my dad is a huge role model for me. He's helped me a lot in my life. He's given me a lot of support. He's been tough on me when he needs to, and I think he's also a big reason of why I was able to study in America, why I was able to who I am today. You know, he's pushed me, and sometimes a bit too far, but I mean, that's what he's there for, you know. He's there to show me who I can be and the levels I can reach.
To guide you.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed.
Jeez, let's start with America, and then we'll go back later on where you tell us where you grew up and how did you grow up. So, bro, how did you get the scholarship to America, bro?
Yeah, so
how did it come about?
In 2018, I traveled to America, to New York, on a soccer camp.
Yes.
With an organization called Aspire Atlantic.
Yes.
So what they do, they basically take people from schools,
Yes.
high schools in South Africa. They'll make like game footage and stuff, and then they'll send all your stuff to America to different coaches that they know, and then all of these coaches can get in touch with you if they're interested in taking you to the college. So after that tour, we played a few games there, the little tournament we had.
Yes.
And then after that tour, I got back and I said to my dad, you know, I want to pursue this. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So we spoke to Aspire Atlantic, and they were very helpful. We sent them footage from like games. My dad had to start recording my games and my training.
Yes.
We sent them all the footage, all my marks from school, and yeah, they made a video that's on YouTube.
Oh, that's short video. I saw the video.
So they made that video. They sent all my marks, everything that they needed to send. They sent that to all like a few different coaches in America, And then LSUA contacted me through Michael Popat, who used to be the coach there.
Yes.
And yeah, started talking to him. We hit it off, and then offered me scholarship at LSUA.
Jeez, that's dope, bruh. How is America like? How has it been like? Moving from South Africa to the climate. Tell us everything.
Luckily, where I am in Louisiana, the climate is very similar. I didn't have to adjust too much.
It's similar to here
Similar
in SA.
to South Africa, yeah.
The
very
sun
similar.
and all those.
Sun, temperature, weather, it's very similar. And then the biggest adjustment for me was moving away from home. So first time I've moved out of the house away from my parents.
Bro.
So that was a big step for me to take, I think. But
were you ready at the time?
At the time, I don't think you can be ready for something like that. So I think you can only be ready for it once you're thrown into it.
Yeah.
But I think I adjusted well. I had to learn a lot of things. I had to learn how to do a lot of things by myself. But yeah, first semester was very difficult. But after that it was a lot easier.
Yeah. You've always wanted to play soccer.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
To be a goalkeeper, or
yeah.
You can play other positions, or you just master goalkeeping.
Right now, probably just goalkeeping. But back in the day, I used to just play wherever I could play. You know, it was just it wasn't about position. It was just I enjoy football. Let me play football. But now I'm a goalkeeper.
So how's the format there? How frequently do you play there? Especially while you have to juggle school and juggle the playing soccer.
So the schedule that we have is we'll train every day from Monday to Friday from 2 to 4:30. On Thursdays and Saturdays we have our games that will normally be at like 3:30 in the afternoon. So you schedule all your classes before training, and then you train for 2.5 hours, and then you're done for that day. In pre-season we train twice a day. We'll train at like 9 a.m. and then at 2 again in the afternoon. But then as soon as classes start, we only train at 2.
And the facilities, how are they? Are they proper? Or are they still getting the because of this varsity?
It's improved a lot from our first semester. In our first semester, we didn't have like set locker rooms. We had like I want to say a container, but it wasn't really a container that we used. We used to get changed for games, but no, now we have like a whole. It's like a house that they've turned into
clubhouse.
A clubhouse that they've turned into a soccer house.
Soccer house, yeah.
We've got like a living room. We've got a girls' locker room, boys' locker room.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how's the team performing currently? Which position are you on the log?
We finished 4th in the league, and then how it works in America, you have your regular season and then you have playoffs. So in the playoffs you have first plays against 4th, and then second plays against 3rd in semi-finals, and then the winner plays in the final. We lost in the semi-final to the team that finished first.
Yes.
We lost. They scored in the last minute of the game. They scored and we lost 2-1.
It must have been heartbreaking to concede, bro.
Yeah, because it's also my last season playing there.
Oh, it's your last season?
It's the last season. So that's my last season.
So meaning you finishing off the scholarship, or you won't be playing soccer? Please break it down.
So the American college soccer only works. So you only have a season from August to December. In January to May, which is the other semester, you don't have a season, but you still have training and training games. So I'm graduating in August. So
next year
August. So I won't be there for
able to play,
August to December. So that was my last season playing.
Jeez. How old are you now?
21.
21.
Yeah.
So let me put this one. If you had an opportunity, let's say after completing in August, then a team from here in the PSL comes knocking at the door and like, Keagan, we want you. Would you be able to come back, play in the PSL?
Yeah, I'd be able to come back.
Which team would you like to play for, especially to suit your, what I can say, goalkeeping style? What do you like? Do you like the total football, or
I
like the total football?
I like to play. I don't like kicking it long. Then
I saw on your video clips like you playing it, because I think that the football has evolved now. I remember the time Pep Guardiola went to Man City, like he always had a go at Joe Hart. Joe Hart was always kicking the ball. He's like, no. They ended up benching that guy and even eventually selling him because the football has moved. You have to start play from the back and then you construct the play. So you prefer the total football.
Yeah, I like to play. You have control over the ball. Then if they can't score, if you have
Is it not scary like when a guy is pressing you like a team? Because guys, like football has evolved now. There's so much data available out there, so they check the teams how they are playing, their methodology, the tactics, and whatever. So they pretty much can know that we know the strength of this team is to play from the back. So what happen? What do you guys do when a team presses you, like they counter you, like they forcing you not to play from the back?
And then at that point, it's all about adapting. You just have to adapt to what they're doing. If what you want to do is not working,
you change.
Then you just have to change. You can't do anything else. Or you can, if you trust your teammates enough, then you can stick to playing like that. And then if it works, it works. But if it doesn't, then honestly you have to change. You have to adapt to what they're doing.
Are you the only South African there?
No, there's 5 of us.
5 from SA?
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure you're making a killer combination.
Sorry?
I'm sure you're combining good with the South African champs there.
We get along very well. Yeah. So 2 of them traveled with me the first time I went.
Yes.
So they quite close to me, and then there's 2 more that started now this semester, just finished their first semester.
So what are the importance of nutrition, especially as a soccer player like you?
I think the most important thing that I've learned there is to make sure you're drinking the proper fluids, the right fluids.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're training there in summer, the temperature can get up to like 30, 32 degrees.
Yes.
And then if you're not drinking enough water, that's dangerous for you.
You're going to be dehydrated.
You can pass out, you can be dehydrated. And then also, just making sure you're eating the right food to stay in shape. You can have your nice food if you want on like the weekends and stuff, but during weekdays when you're training, you have to be eating the right stuff.
Wow, that's good. So who's your favorite goalkeeper and why?
My favorite goalkeeper right now, I have a few. I don't think I can narrow it to one, but
Give me two.
2?
And why?
Playing with his feet, Edison.
Jeez, Edison Morales. That guy's a beast.
Shot stopping, I think Alisson has to be up there.
Alisson Becker.
In terms of shot stopping, he's just unreal. And also Donnarumma for Italy.
Yeah. He's playing for PSG now.
PSG,
yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, you love shot stoppers.
Shot stopping. At the end of the day, that's what the keeper's there for.
So what are the attributes for a goalkeeper? What is required for you to make it in the top league, not to just play locally but internationally, like at the highest level?
I think you have to be vocal. People need to know that you know what you're doing. You need to be a leader as well on the field, because you can see everything.
Everything, yeah. You get the clear view of the pitch.
You also need to know what you're doing and when to do it. Because a lot of keepers now, they need to be sweeper keepers as well. The way a lot of teams like to press high.
Geez, a guy who's been doing sweeper keeping for so long, Michael Neuer. What is his name? Manuel Neuer. Yeah, that guy has been doing sweeper keeping so well.
He changed everything.
Changed the game, ne?
Yeah, he changed.
That guy, that moment, I think it was a game changer. Even a guy like, do you watch the PSL? Or sometimes?
Sometimes, not a lot.
A guy like, I think it will be helpful for you in terms of also development and the service to deliver the ball quicker with your feet. Is that guy Itumelo Nkune?
Nkune, yeah.
Jeez, that guy, his service
is
top notch. Yeah, I love such keepers where you pretty much read the game and see that I can make a through pass.
Yeah.
Then boom, counter. Then you pretty much give your team an advantage, like. So I think goalkeepers and they play for the longest of times.
Yeah.
Others say goalkeepers mature with age. Do you believe that?
I think that's definitely the case with me. I think it is a thing with goalkeepers because the thing with goalkeeping, you can only learn in games. You know, you can do training, you can do goalkeeper drills, but none of that will prepare you for what happens in a game.
The game.
And the mistakes you make in training are not going to be the same mistakes you make in a game.
In a game that goes.
You can only learn from game situations, and I think the more you play, the better you become, and that's definitely, I can see that happening with me as well.
Wow, that's good. Have you ever made a mistake like where you feel like, oh, my team is crucifying me
A lot
now?
of times.
Of
A lot
course.
of times, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's part of the process in learning. A guy like Ronan Williams also, he used to make a lot of mistakes, but now at Mamelodi Sundowns, I can see him, the positioning, how he distributes the ball, he's comfortable on the feet,
Yeah.
and even the crosses. Are you comfortable with the crosses? Balls being played on the box.
I am now. Back when I
Because
first started, no, I wasn't.
I see a lot of goalkeepers. If you find that he mistimes the anticipation, he wants to punch it, then he's late.
Yeah.
He's either late or he fouls the player. So I think it's a very difficult position to be in. People take it lightly. Like, so, what is the training for goalkeepers? I don't think it's the same as the players who are inside.
I think you do. One of the things I will say, I think a lot of people underestimate how fit a goalkeeper has to be.
Jeez.
You think you diving up and down, you going across the goal. It can be demanding. You have to be fit to be a goalkeeper. I think you also have to be, you have to have strong legs. It's a lot of explosive work. You have to have strong core, strong legs, and also your hands, your wrists have to be strong. Because I mean nowadays the way the balls are, guys can hit them, they can hit them hard. Jeez. And you can't be scared of it if you're in goal. You have to
What do you think are you good in penalty saving? Can you save penalties or free kicks in terms of organizing also the whole?
I'd say a lot better with free kicks with penalties. I don't really like penalties that much.
I saw that other guy. I think a lot of goalkeepers must check that guy, the goalkeeper for Morocco.
Yeah,
the way like he makes it difficult for players to pick a spot, because he goes this side, he also goes that side, and then he like extending himself to be bigger. So on the World Cup note, which team are you going with?
Argentina, for Messi. Messi has to win the World Cup, but if not Argentina, then Morocco. I like watching the African teams.
Jeez,
they've been good to watch so far.
Morocco, they've been a pride, bro.
Yeah.
And also the level of football there. Pitso Msimani spoke about Morocco a long time ago as he was doing his CAF license there. He spoke about Morocco, that they must watch out for this Morocco team. Morocco teams, even in the CAF Champions League, they're so strong. The women football, they're so strong. So they've won quite a lot of trophies. So I think now there's something they are doing which is right, which other teams must also be able to look at, like what is Morocco doing. Check them as a case study, to see what are the good we can learn from them, and then take it and implement in their respective teams. So still on the World Cup note, do you think Messi can lift it?
It'll be difficult.
Or Ronaldo?
I think at the moment it'll be difficult for either of them to win it. I think Argentina haven't looked great so far. I think they have a difficult game now. Netherlands is a good team.
Good team.
And then even if they beat the Netherlands, Brazil will probably beat Croatia, and Brazil is also probably the favourites.
Yeah.
And Portugal, I don't see them beating France. I don't see.
And the benching Ronaldo, what's wrong? Can you just speak about Ronaldo maybe for 2 minutes? What's your take on Ronaldo? Because he just did an interview before he was released from Manchester with Piers Morgan, on Uncensored. That guy was dropping fouls, bombs. What's your take on Ronaldo's situation? Like, do you think he should retire, or he should carry on?
I don't think he should retire. I think there's still maybe 1 or 2 years that he has to play. But I think you can see now he's starting to become a bit of a bad influence in the locker rooms that he's in. I think you see United are playing better without him. Portugal play a lot better
Yeah,
without
so
him.
they score a lot of goals without that
So
guy.
I mean, I think you just have to see. I don't think he should retire yet, but I think it's getting closer. But yeah,
He must not taint his work, his legacy, the things he has done. Because
yeah.
now he's going on the media, on a media run, speaking about the coach like that.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with your coach, man? Speaking
In
about
America, well, we get along very well. Good relationship.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to respect your coach.
Yeah.
Even take criticism. Constructive criticism also builds a person. So I think it's quite important because soccer, you learn. You're as good as your last game. So you must also be willing to be coachable and adaptable.
Yeah.
So which are some of the leagues you are watching currently and the teams you support?
So the main team I support is Leicester. I'm a big Leicester fan.
But they're doing bad this season, man.
Yeah, we started very bad, but we started to turn it around.
Turn it around, yeah.
I will watch. I mean, I watch Spain if there's like big games on. I watch Italy, France. I watch any sort of football if it's a good game.
It's a good game, yeah. Or most of the time you're always watching soccer.
Yeah, it's all I do.
So when you're watching soccer, what do you want to see there? Like, what are you checking as a player? Like, what are some of the things you are looking at, or you're looking at how the game is moving, or because now players are being required. It's no longer the same as before. Now players are required to do the video analysis, even about their performance, and then give feedback. Then,
after I graduate, one of the things that I would like to do, or like to explore, is getting my coaching badges.
Yes.
I'd love to stay in football some way or another, whether I'm playing or coaching.
Yeah.
So when I'm watching a game, I'll try look out for little things, like have they changed how this player is supposed to be moving? Is he moved from this side to that side? Why they moved him? And then I think you can also see. I'm starting to identify like shapes and formations on the pitch a lot more now.
Yeah.
And different styles of play. You can see they like going this side because the right wing's getting the better of the left back every time.
They overload.
So they like going to that side. Like just little things like that. But yeah, if I'm not looking out for that stuff, I just want to enjoy watching football. I like watching possession.
Yeah.
Teams knocking the ball around.
You like possession-based teams?
I love possession-based teams.
Yeah, bro, because I remember speaking about possession, the Barcelona team, Pep Guardiola, bro.
Pep Guardiola teams are beautiful to watch.
That team, bro, Victor Valdez, Dani Alves, who was playing?
PK.
Yeah, Carles Puyol, PK, Jordi Alba, the midfield, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi. Bro, and then the front three, MSN, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. They were destroying teams, bro.
Yeah.
I even like the younger generation now of Barcelona, Gavi and
Pedri. Jeez. Very nice to watch.
And they're so aggressive on the ball. They're so confident. I think I've realized one thing as I've been watching a lot of soccer. It's players who come from proper development. They have mastered the art of technique, like the technique. Yeah. The attitude. You never hear them on the news, on the tabloids about bad things, partying and all those stuff. Yeah. Do you think like development is really that important? Yeah,
definitely. I think a lot of the teams nowadays, you're starting to see more younger players coming through, and the biggest thing probably for a young player is the mind states. You have to be mentally ready to go into that, and I think the development's helping them a lot more because the levels also increasing with the younger age levels now.
Okay.
I think young players are a lot more ready now to go into first teams than they were before. A while ago. Yeah, I think a lot of that's to do with the data that they have.
Yeah, the data.
They can improve a lot more. Like when they're 15, 16, they don't have to wait until they're 22 before they finally get that sort of coaching.
Bro, what's wrong with South African football, bro? Oh, we're not in a World Cup. It's bad, bro.
I think the biggest thing with South African football right now or South African sports in general is politics.
Jeez.
I think there's way too much politics in South African sports.
Yeah.
And certain players are getting chosen because they know people, and it's not being chosen.
It's no longer meritocracy.
Yeah, it's not based on that anymore. And I think you're seeing that now, the difference in the drop off in standard that we see.
Jeez, bro, we've dropped. So even players who's playing at the higher level from SA now currently.
Lebo Matiba is playing in France.
France, yeah.
I think for the last international break he might have been injured though. I think that's why he didn't get chosen.
How's the take on the coach? Is he the right guy for you?
I don't know. I think
in terms of the criteria, his selection,
I think a lot of you can't really judge it because I don't think it's his selection only. I think a lot of people are influencing it as well. Because there's a lot of players getting chosen that, I mean, I looked at the last South African team that we played, I barely recognized half the players.
Jeez.
Like there's a lot of players playing in Europe or in America or something, and they're not getting chosen.
Bro, even the decision of Pesitao moving from Brighton to Al Ahly, I think it was a step back, bro. I got a bit sad. I was like, that guy was getting closer and closer to the first team. He's also getting some minutes, so I think he was impatient. Even also Bongani Zongo, disciplinary issues that happened with him at Glasgow Rangers. I think that guy was the stand for greatness. I think sometimes what's the importance of discipline as a soccer player?
I think it's just knowing how to carry yourself as a footballer. I think I especially pride myself on just being as respectful as possible. Whether I'm playing or not, to just be a good teammate to the guys that are playing. Because as much as you might be upset, there might be some of your teammates that are looking up to you and seeing how you act. Like now for me as a senior on the soccer team, a lot of the younger guys, I'd like to think, look up to me in some way.
You're kind of a leader to them.
So like if I'm not picking things up after training, if I'm not cleaning the field, or if I'm just have a bad attitude, it might rub off on some of them. But I think if they see the seniors, the older guys helping out around the soccer house on the field, it will translate down to them. So I think just carrying yourself in the right way, regardless of your situation, it's always a recipe for success.
Jeez, when you're speaking like this, like I can see even in your eyes, like you've got the characteristics of being a coach. Like you always taking action, you're leading, responsibility. You never shy away from responsibility, as judging from what you've said now. And looking at the coaching, who inspires you in terms of coaching currently? Who's not the top coach now currently?
I think it's still Pep.
Jeez.
Pep is just...
What makes Pep so special?
I think he's earned respect from players. I think his resume speaks for itself. When you look at the players he's coached, he was the one who really transformed Messi, turned into a false nine. And then obviously you see, I think he created the false nine formation, the false nine position that we're seeing a lot of players. Liverpool fan Firmino does it very well as well.
Bobby, that guy. I think there's a season, 2-3 seasons back, Bobby, Mo Salah and Mane. That guy, Bobby, was doing wonders. Because as we were looking at the numbers, Mane and Salah, they were scoring left, right, and center. But the person who was selfless, who played a critical role there, was Bobby Firmino.
Yeah, dropping in, and then Salah and Mane just. They did so well.
Yeah, I admire how you understand the game of football. It's so intriguing and so stimulating speaking to someone like you about soccer, because I'm very passionate about soccer. I think at one point growing up I thought I was going to be a professional soccer player, but life happened, got disappointed. But I still follow football and I still love football. I would love to also give back to football. Maybe one of the good days to become an analyst, because I love analyzing teams,
definitely.
looking at the play, profiling players. Because another thing the coaches make a mistake. It's not profiling the players or recruiting players that better suits the playing style. You find you're playing a total football, now you're going to bring someone who's not comfortable on the field.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the problems that the coaches somehow do.
Yeah.
And others say favoritism is also the other
That's
thing.
a big problem.
And the agents at the same time they also play a role. So moving away from the topic of football, let's speak about your dad, bro. What are some of the critical, or let's say most important principles he taught you?
I mean, there's a lot. I think the biggest thing is just teaching me how to be a man. You know, how to carry myself as a man in this world now. He's taught me a lot of things about school. Even football. He never played football, but since I started playing it, he's starting to understand it a lot more, and he's helping me as well and pushing me. But I think just teaching me how to be a man, how to be the person I am now. I think a lot of who I am now is based off of him, and I'd like to think that I carry myself in the same light that he does.
Bro, your dad he's your number one fan. He's always
Definitely.
speaking about my
parents,
son.
My mom, my dad, my biggest fan.
How's the relationship with you and your mom?
Inseparable.
Jeez.
Yeah. She's also a big part of my life. When I'm playing soccer, when I used to play for Old Benz,
Yes.
just screaming from the side. She doesn't really back when I started as well, she didn't understand it completely. So she used to just shout anything and anything. Like, she didn't understand what she was saying, but now she knows what she's talking about.
Jeez. And how do you feel like seeing your parent, let's say you're in a soccer game, cheering you on the sides? Like, does it catalyze you? Like, does it pump you up?
Yeah, definitely. Because I wouldn't have. A lot of what I do now is because of them. They've given me the opportunity to succeed, and I think it's only right that I pay them back in any way possible. I think the biggest goal of mine is to one day be able to move them across to America with me if I stay. Get them a house or something there.
Jeez, bro.
Like, everything they've done for me, it's only right that I give them something in return.
Jeez, bro. So take us back. Where were you born? Like, and how was it like growing up where you were born?
So, born in Benoni. I don't remember the hospital name off the top of my head. I grew up in this Mercury Street, where our first house. Primary school, I went to Martin School. My sister went there, so just went there same time as her.
Same time. Yeah.
Well, not the same time. She was 8 years older, but went like the year after she finished. I went, and after that, I went to Woodlands International College for high school. When I went there, we moved to Royal Ridge, which was like 1 kilometer away from Woodlands.
Yes.
And so yes, Woodlands was also big for me. I had a lot of good role models there that taught me as well, inspired me, and that was when I really started to take football seriously. And I started to see myself as more of a leader on the field. Yes. At Woodlands as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of good influences, I'd say, in my childhood and growing up that have pushed me and encouraged me.
Are you an introvert or outrovert? But you seem so chilled.
I'd say I'm a bit more of an introvert. I'm getting a lot better. Normally I don't like interacting with people.
Why, bro?
I don't know. I don't.
But you don't hate people.
No, definitely not.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of nerves sometimes when I'm interacting with new people that I don't know. But growing up as well, you have to sort of
to
overcome
learn,
that sort of
yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I'm getting a lot better with
that fear and all the stuff. Yeah, it's good. I also think growing up I was also an introvert. I was so shy, bro. But now, since reading, I think what helped me is reading a lot, watching a lot of podcasts, getting a lot of knowledge. Because even in the Bible, there's a scripture there, Hosea 4. It says, "My people perish due to the lack of knowledge." So I believe knowledge is key, especially us as a people, as a youth, to go back, like to study the past so that we can understand the history, to study the past so that we can understand the present, to look at our parents, how far they've come, the sacrifices they've made for us to be in this pedestal. In that manner, it will make us appreciate them even more, respect them even more, because I believe there's a lot of sacrifices your dad has made for you, like, to be where you are now.
I think both my parents have, I think they have sacrificed a bit for their kids. I think it's normal for parents to put their kids first when they need to. And I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have an amazing family, very supportive, and it's all I could have asked for, to be honest.
Jeez, let me throw in this question. What do you think was the hardest time of your life, like growing up? Let's say a worst experience you've ever experienced. And the lesson you took from the experience.
In like 2018 or 2019, my mom and I were at home, and my mom was going to let the gardener in to give him lunch. She went to KFC at the shop and she came back. She was going to give him lunch, and long story short, she opened the door and there were two guys there with the gardener.
Jeez.
And they held us up at gunpoint, took stuff. And I mean, talking about it now, it gives me chills just thinking about it. And so like our one neighbor heard like all the commotion. He came to see if everything was okay, and they shot him, and he died the next day.
Jeez. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
You know why I posed that question to you? Like, I'm a spiritual person, so
yeah.
There's this thing that came to me that I felt like you needed to speak about this issue, just a little, even though it's not too much, but little by little, so that at least you can have that healing, bro. Because I work with energy. I could sense your energy. That no, man, there's something that quite triggered you, and that's why sometimes you don't like people. You don't like to be around people much. But I believe that you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
You're gonna get good. And I believe there's a sign there. I think it's a Chinese sign, which is a black and a white. It's called the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So there are good people and bad people. So I believe us as a youth, me speaking to you now as Keagan, we should check out for our tribe, people who align with our values. And then irrespective of the color, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the age, as long as we share the same values, I believe that's the most important thing to do growing up, because we take out the bad in people and look at the good. The bad people, we try to distance ourselves in them, and then look at the good people who, even though this person is not your family member, but you share this same ideologies, the same resources. That person can defend you. He'll never harm you or attack you, but he wants you to win. So I believe me meeting you, it's a grace from God. Some of the things that happen, they've been God knew this would happen before. So me coming from a very poor background, man, sitting with you here, I grew up in a shack, man. It was very bad, sleeping on the floor with my siblings, my mom and my dad, sleeping on the bed. We have to wake up early in the morning, fix it, because it was only one room, and there was nothing we could do. Something in me said that I must not worry. I think I must take the lesson and I must be strong. I was ridiculed by people calling me names that you're so poor and stuff, but I pretty much that thing is what drove me into doing better, even academically, to push myself, even at work. I'd be like, I have to use each and every opportunity I get because I don't have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
My father is late. I only have my mom with my siblings, so I have to work twice as hard. I have to appreciate people, and I have to have these conversations. It's good for our mental health as young people, because I believe there's so many things that our parents don't know which we are going through. So with this platform, I think it's gonna be a game changer. As you spoke about podcasts, that you wanna do a podcast, I believe that if you go international, you get a contract there, invite us, bro.
Definitely, I definitely
Invite us, bro. We'll come with my videographer, Roderick, to work together, even if start small with the little we have, to share knowledge, not to focus on race politics. I think that thing is going to take us backwards. So, what's your take on everything I've just said now?
I mean, yeah, I think there's certainly some things I've looked at in my life where I've said to myself, like, there was definitely an angel watching over me today, you know, to make sure that I got home safe, or you know, something bad didn't happen. And like the thing I just spoke about, it was also a big thing for me and my mom. It brought us a lot closer. And I mean, every time the date comes where it's like the anniversary of when it happened, you know, it's just a moment for me to sit back and say, you know, things could have been very different that day. You know, unfortunately, you know, it wasn't all good on that day, but I think things could have been a lot worse, and we're lucky to be where we are now, considering what's happened. But yeah, I think the biggest thing moving forward for a lot of people is just they have to connect, they have to come together. The biggest, we're seeing a big difference, a big rift, I'd say, between different races and everything, and that's, like you said, it's just going to take everyone backwards. The hate's not going to get us anywhere.
It's going to get us anywhere, bro. The hate, it's going to perpetuate what's happening, and we're going to lose the bigger picture, bro. We need to come together. I know it's going to be hard, but there has to be more dialogues from people from different races. Speak out what hurts you about this race, and the other race speaks out. Then we find a middle ground. We find a way we can meet each other. We find to each other, and then if you're gonna have to forgive each other, then we move on. There's a whole lot of things to do, bro. You're in America. There's the Silicon Valley. We're in the fourth industrial revolution, bro. How's the things in America there, like?
Like in terms of the technology?
The technology, the electric cars. Elon Musk is making waves. The Trevor Noah, the Daily Show, bro.
Where I am, you don't see much of the new technology. Quite a rural area of America, but I mean, you can see now Elon Musk is rolling out all the Tesla trucks and
bro.
I mean all the self-delivering trucks and all that sort of stuff. You can definitely see they're taking the steps that they need, and I mean, you can just see the difference in mindset, I think, with a lot of the people that work there.
Who inspired to kind of tap into this podcast space?
So there's a podcast I listen to, it's called The Fellas. It's these two YouTubers that I watch, and
are they friends?
Yeah, they're friends. they just basically go on their podcast and just talk. They just make jokes. They talk about stuff that's happening and
current affairs.
Yeah, and at the end they'll sort of they'll take messages from people and they just give them advice on different situations. It's a light-hearted podcast. It's not something that you listen to like seriously if you want to learn things. But yeah, if you need to listen to anything, have a little bit of a laugh, it's definitely
For
something-
entertainment
For
purpose,
entertainment, for sure, yeah.
It's a good thing, bro, because there's different podcasts, bro. For me, what led me to this podcast space is Joe Rogan, bro. I remember during the lockdowns, I think that's where I kind of saw Joe Rogan, the brick walls there that set up the aesthetics on his show, bringing people like Elon Musk, the engineers, Jordan Peterson. And I love long formats podcasts, because I believe we need to take people back to have the attention spell that's longer, not the short attention spells, because now people are into this TikTok snippets for 30 seconds, then they jump into conclusions. So we need 2 hours podcast, 1 hour podcast. You learn a lot. I've learned a lot over the past, I think, 2 years. I learned a lot in different topics, whether it's engineering, whether it's business, whether it's sports, anything. Psychology, guy like Jordan Peterson, his mind, like I love people who speaks, who have knowledge and share. So it's quite cool. Even the Lex Friedman podcast, I think that guy is doing quite good. A Jewish guy who's in America doing quite a lot of work. He was with this guy, a dollar billionaire from America. He's based in America. Originally, he's from Sri Lanka. It's Chamath Palaptia. That guy, he spoke about money. He said, no, at first he used to brag about money, he used to chase money, everything was about money, but now he has kind of shifted. He's lost so much. In him losing so much and even going back and reclaiming his spot, he saw that family is very critical, it's very key. What's your take on family, bro? Over money, like, because people, I feel like they chasing money, they chasing likes, they chasing reactions.
I think money, while it's nice to have money, I think...
Do you believe there's a threshold for money, like enough, a person can have this enough money, or you have to keep going, like... what's your take on money?
I think it depends on the individual. A lot of people, I think, will look at money differently. The way I see it, I don't think money should be something that you put over everything else. I think at the end of the day, you need to look at what you enjoy, what you're passionate about. And I mean, you said like family. I think family should be at the top of everyone's list. That's the most important thing to people. It's the first people that you know. You're born. For the first 2-3 years of your life, all you know is your family.
Yeah, bro.
So I think the biggest thing is to just appreciate your family. They, as much as you might not feel like it sometimes, I think your family sacrifices a lot for you. And for me, definitely family is over money, 100%.
So what's the relationship with money, bro? Because I think this money thing, as Africans, as black Africans who are the natives here, especially about the colonizers coming here with money, I believe that especially for black people, like it's being introduced, the way it was introduced to us, I think it kind of triggered us, it kind of traumatized us, because it was introduced as a means of exchange. And as the people back then were used to bartering, now they've introduced this concept of money, which is controlled by people like the World Bank, the IMF, and also this financial, what's this called? Financial Action Task Team, which was started in 1989, where they kind of wanted to stop this thing of drugs. Drugs was making a lot of money. Guys like Pablo Escobar, they're making a lot of money with drugs. So it was threatening them. So guys, the Americans, the G7 countries, America, France, the UK, Italy, Canada, Germany, Japan, the G7, they created this 40 laws in which countries must abide by. Then if you are doing money laundering, then the IMF, the World Bank, they're gonna have to check with you that you doing money laundering, then they're gonna red flag you. Also, they introduced what's the other law? It's money laundering. Money laundering, yeah, that one was drug abuse, and then they introduced money laundering to prevent money laundering. And also in 2001, they also introduced, after the 9/11, they introduced the law of terrorism, like where people get red flagged, like if you're doing terrorism, like your banks and your details, like you can have your assets seized if you have been found that you are a terrorist, or you're doing money laundering, or you're doing drugs. So they pretty much comprehended those laws, and they trickled down to the banks, and then that's how the money works, like from there, working with the UN. So I think it's a complex issue, the money. So we need to understand that from that point, who's controlling the money, and this thing of interest, also on credit, and also this thing of inflation. Because I believe inflation, this year I'm having 1 million, but next year that million now has trickled down, is almost 800,000. With 1 million I could buy a house, now I can't buy a house, which means I have to work twice as hard. And you look at it at this point, like sometimes it's a form of exploitation, because it's few people who are controlling the money, and this thing called, what's this thing? I forgot the name. They predict that this is gonna happen, just like Cyril Ramaphosa with this Pala saga. No, the value of the houses now are dropping, and then after that saga now, or speculation, they speculate that no, there's gonna be COVID or whatever. So I believe are those people who controls the money that have pretty much power over us, because if you look at the cost of things, cost of living is very high, bro. So what's your take on the overall things I've just said? Sorry for speaking so much.
No problem. I mean, I think there are higher people that are controlling a lot of the money. I mean, like also you said, people that speculate that certain things are going to happen. They have a big pull on the markets. You know, I mean, someone can write, oh, Coca-Cola is going to plummet in value. You know, so people either like sell their shares in Coca-Cola or something, and then never happens. You can never be too sure with the way money works. I think it's a very unpredictable resource, because anything can happen at any given time that will just change the value. Like COVID. I mean, no one saw COVID coming, and then, I mean, value of things is dropping because of COVID, and I mean, it's too unpredictable.
Jeez, bro. So moving on, I think we're almost an hour into the show. We're gonna close it down soon. So, do you believe in God? Do you believe that there is God?
Yeah, I do.
Are you Christian or?
Yeah, Christian.
Christian. So, what is your favorite scripture or a Bible story?
I don't really have one. I mean, I said I do believe in God and all of that, but I'm not like heavily religious. I don't. I know I don't go to church often. I don't read the Bible and stuff like that. But I do feel there's things that have happened in my life that have definitely led me to believe that there's a higher power up there that's watching over me, for sure.
That's good. So how are your studies going? What are you studying?
I'm studying business administration. It's going very well. I'm going into my last 2 semesters. Yeah, I'm almost done. Just looking forward to it.
Was it always something you wanted to go to, this route of business?
Not always. Initially, I wanted to do sports science. I wanted to go into that to sort of boost my coaching, but I spoke to my dad, and he said that sports science limits you to only a handful of certain jobs that I might be interested in, but you look at business administration, there's so many things you can do
So
nowadays.
complex, bro.
And so yeah, the decision was, while it was my second option, after talking to my dad, it was that's what changed my mind.
Wow, that's good. So I think it's a very good decision, especially as a soccer player. You always need something to fall back on, because
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of players. They're at the prime playing soccer and stuff, but once the soccer ends, like, because this career, I believe, is short, unless, as you spoke, you wanted to do a license, coaching license. I believe you can always stretch. But if you don't have the academics, you don't read, you don't have a qualification, I believe it becomes harder for a person to bounce back, because the value of money is dropped and the cost of living is very high. So you find a guy who was at his prime, then now all of a sudden is in the hood, struggling, and it kind of affects their mental health, bro. It's sad, bro.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing a very, very good thing in going to school and doing business. So what do you want to become? Like, let's say you finish your studies next year, August. What do you want to tap into?
So after I graduate, the first thing I want to do is my OPT. So there's a thing
What's an OPT?
So in America, there's a thing called optional practical training. So what you do, you can work for a year on your student visa, and then you can earn in dollars. You work for an American company, and then after that, I want to do my master's in business, and then do another year of OPT after that. So that will be another 4 years that I stay in the States.
So you're not ready to work yet?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think I've managed to narrow down what I really want to do yet. So I think my OPT will help a lot to see what it's like to work in the business industry, to see what I want to do, and then after my masters and my second OPT, then I'll definitely be ready to work. I'll know what I want to do for sure.
Wow, that's good, bro. I'm so proud, bro. Very, very proud. I think you are destined for greatness, and you should keep going and never let anyone bring you down, but keep going, keep playing soccer. I think you're such a motivation. I would love one day to see you on TV. We're like, nah, man, Keagan, we did a podcast with him here back then, but now look at where he is. I think progress is a very good thing as a people, to always move, always learn. So are there books are you currently reading, or
not at the moment,
audiobooks,
but I do want to get into books about the stock market, crypto. I think that's the future of business for sure, is crypto.
the blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, I just
Web 3.0 is Web 3.0 or Web 2.0? Web 2. Is it the Web? I think Web 3.0 might not be 100%, but I'm quite sure.
But yeah, getting into stocks, crypto, like understanding how the markets work, is definitely one of my interests. Other than that, I like to see, read stuff about, different entrepreneurs. I think Elon Musk is someone that I definitely want to study a bit more, learn a bit more from. He's done great things.
Just amazing.
And I mean, he's only going to keep improving. You just look at all the stuff he's coming out with, and it's only going to keep going.
Jeez, but as an aspiring businessman, give me a top 5 businessmen currently, and why? Because your dad, I asked him the same question.
Yeah, he told me the same question.
Yeah.
I don't really have a top 5. I think the biggest one for me is Elon Musk. I think you just look at what he's doing. He understands the different markets. You look at what he, recently bought Twitter and the Neuralink, everything he's doing. He's going to skyrocket, I think, in the next few years with all his business. Jeff Bezos, I think, is another one. He's built up quite the reputation.
They were quite good.
Steve Jobs, of course, with Apple and everything. But I mean, yeah, I think those three are probably the ones that come to mind at first when I hear that question.
Okay, so you talk about stocks. Can you please break it down for us?
Right now, I don't know, but I want to learn about it.
Yeah,
I haven't done stocks yet.
Haven't done, and then crypto you haven't done also.
Yeah,
I think it's the future of
definitely
of currency. I think a lot of people we must try to learn as much as we can. I think it's gonna help us a lot.
So we're speaking, bro. I think we have to do part 2 of this. You have to gonna come back into this podcast. So what's your take on our podcast, on what we're doing, and on the conversation we've had? Give me a brief summary as we about to close now.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. My dad told me that for your first interview you recorded it on a phone.
Yeah.
Now you got the cameraman, you got the camera, so you're definitely doing the right things. Yeah, maybe pushing at some point to get like a studio or something.
Yeah, that's where we wanna go. Yeah, I think it's a perfect place to do.
Yeah, and then just good questions. You have good conversation with the people that you have on. I think that's the biggest thing. Just making a guest feel
comfortable. Yeah. So, what is the advice to the youth, bro? The youth, the unemployment. I think it's 40% now unemployment. Graduates, bro, and about 76% unemployment rate, bro. It's sad, bro, because one guy said the hardest thing to do is moving from theory to practical.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think just make sure you're doing the best that you can at school when you're given the chance. Obviously, not everyone is given the chance to go to school, and it's not their fault if they're not able to go. But if they're able to go to school, then they definitely have a chance to do something, and just take that as seriously as you can.
That's good, bro. So, when all is said and done about you, what do you want to be remembered as, Keagan?
Hopefully, professional soccer player.
Yeah.
That's the first thing on my list.
Yeah.
And I mean, even just that, just a good man, respectful, someone who's respected by his peers, and someone who had a good circle around him. That's my biggest thing.
Jeez, bro, such wise and courageous words coming from a young person like you. So mature, bro. Very mature. I think you also destined for greatness. Keep it up and make your parents proud.
Yeah.
I appreciate you a lot. I wish we come to America, bro. Don't forget us. Don't forget us. This has been the quintessential experience with Sipho. We're wrapping up with Keagan. Guys, please remember, allow the process to shape you. Boom. Love you.